All right, so now that we went in on the left side, occluded, went over on the right side, did the outline, numbed, and now occluding that side, we swap back over here to the left side of the brow. On this left side of the brow, we really want to ensure that the client's numb has set in and we see the outline, her skin is open and numbed. So we go back in, filling our needle up with our selected pigment color. Again, the color we use Tina Davies or Permablend pigments. Those are the most reliable pigments that I have seen in the market. So you can pick three main colors: mallard, dark fudge, and blackish brown. I also like to get an orange crush for those clients that are more cool. Um, and you go in and you do a good full first pass on your client, getting the fronts really good but really light. You see, I'm using a long stroke. I am not doing a short stroke as I would do in a tail to keep the pixelations looking really light and free, and not like a Sharpie marker or permanent makeup or even tint for that matter. You want to do long strokes in the front. That is essential. That is key. And the reason I started in the front instead of in the tail is because it is so important to ensure that um, the numb is at its highest peak. And that front is the most sensitive area. You'll notice it when you work on clients, or if you've even had your brows done, you know that front is the most sensitive area. Now, as you work your way back towards the tail of the brow, you see how small the movements are, how slow the movements are, especially when going around that arch area. You want to hit it very precisely. You can't do long strokes because you don't have a long area to work in. It's kind of common sense, but also it's a strategy. And you got to go shorter strokes, but you also want to work really light. You want to stretch the skin really good to see as much as your area as you can, which you wouldn't usually see if you didn't stretch the skin, or if you didn't. You see, when you don't stretch, it kind of all shrinks together, but when you are stretching, you can clearly see everything in that space. So that's really key when trying to fill in the brow and doing that first pass. So take your time, don't rush it. And also, if you watch how I pull my machine on that left brow, I pull the machine towards me. Now, the way that I'm sitting, I am an artist that like to sit on one side of the brow. I sit on the right side. Excuse me, I sit on the right side of the brow, or I sit right behind the client, but for the most part on the right side. So I'm always pulling the machine towards me, and that's on both sides. I'll explain this when I show you another clip. But then continue to wash your brow off with your green soap and your foaming bottle, and circle it around. I also like to use a little tattoo butter because it just helps it all come out smooth. And voila, that is a beautiful first pass. You already see the impact made with the pigment, and literally it's technically the second pass, but the true first pass, because on that initial pass, we were just opening the skin enough so that way we can get the numb in. But this pass, we actually were working the pigment into the skin for lasting results. So that's beautiful results. And you see how I am always going back in with my razor and cleaning up any little hairs that is outside of my shape, because I never want those little hairs to confuse me later down the line. And I want this brow to be super clean, super icy. And that's my signature. That's why you're here. That's what you're used to seeing out of the work that I've done. And I want that for you. So be very tedious when it comes to cleaning up the hairs. It's going to be very hairs as fine as peach fuzz, but it's essential to take your time, and in between almost every brow switch, I clean up my clients' hairs. And also make sure you clean the brow really good before you begin putting numb on, because you never want any pigment residue to get into your numb. If pigment residue gets into your numb, then that lessens the chemistry that is a mixture to make the numb work. So make sure you clean it really good, apply your numb, and then again occlude and move on to the other brow. And even that side, we can see a little bit that it's beautifully ready for shading.